What up, everybody? Welcome back to the J-Team Brand Podcast. It's your host, Josh Pizarro here. And I actually have a special guest here with me today, another fellow podcaster, my boy Brandon.
What's good, man?
Let you introduce yourself to our audience and say what's up, man, a little bit about you.
What up, man? My name is Brandon M. Davis, as a lot of you may know me by. I told y'all the M stands for motherfucking. But M is really my middle name. I'm not going to say my real middle name, but I have a dope podcast called Ignorant Intelligence. It streams on SoundCloud and iTunes if you guys want to check it out. So you can follow me on Twitter at Ignit Podcast, IGNINT Podcast. You could also follow me on Instagram at BrandonDoes_.
You gotta follow this guy, man. He's pretty fucking funny too, by the way. And the podcast. So let's talk about a little bit about the podcast. So I know we talked in the backdrop. You said that you follow a little bit about culture and what's going on and just general news. What right now has like your most attention?
Honestly, like the last episode, I was talking about the Cardi B thing, like the differences between her and Bill Cosby.
Okay.
Because it was just like...
Oh, that's crazy you mentioned
like everyone was just like, oh, Bill was drugging people, da-da-da-da, which totally wrong, totally agree with. Yeah. And then with Cardi, people were just like, oh, she did what she had to do. So I'm just like...
Do we live in a...
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of double standards, a lot of contradictions.
I had a conversation with a couple of my homies in the backdrop, and I said the same thing, man. I was like, yo, if that was a dude talking about he drugged and robbed females... Yo, we would be going through the roof right now with this.
It would be like the biggest news if
it'd be R. Kelly Part 2.
Exactly. So
it is crazy how we do live in a double standard culture, bro. It's kind of insane, man.
It's ridiculous because granted, it was a while ago. I don't even know if it's true. There's no people that came forward. Like the reason why with R. Kelly and Bill was a big thing because they were victims. With Cardi, it's just like no one's come forward saying, "Yo, she did this to me." And the one guy that did was like, "Oh, I was joking." So and a lot of stuff is that what I think is going to happen within a month, we'll forget about it.
Because but that's like with everything.
Right, because we're such a microwave society. It's just like, this, okay, what's next? What's this, what's that? It's just heated up real quick.
You're going to have something to talk about, bro. Exactly. Like literally everything, every week, you're going to have something.
Even though that's like a serious issue, it'll be done by
tomorrow. I think it actually happened. I think
it's already dying out. It'll be over soon.
Nobody's coming forward.
Exactly.
So whatever, we can't press no charges. Nah, that's insane though, bro. But so, what made you decide to start podcasting? Yo, I swear to God, as soon as I started my podcast, it felt like
everyone was just like, "Yo, B, how do you do a podcast?" I'm just like, "Where are you coming from with this?" I honestly I used to watch Joe Rogan's podcast all the time, and I watch a lot of stand-up comedy. And I was just like, do I want to be a stand-up comedian? No, I don't really like standing on stage talking to a bunch of people. Okay. So I'm just like, all right, what's a platform that I could voice my opinion and create some comedy on things are a little bit too serious all the time. So with my podcast, I try to go and put some humor even in serious scenarios. Just try to break the ice.
I kind of got that from your personality.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, this guy finds humor in everything.
You have to.
But you have an ill personality.
Thank you.
So
appreciate it.
It works for the podcast.
If you take everything so serious, you'll go crazy.
This fucking society, you kidding me? Especially in America,
you
bro.
lose your mind. Like
you literally lose your mind because there's everything to lose your mind in when it comes to politics, when it comes to culture,
race, religion, just everything. It's just if you take on all that weight, you'll lose it. So you gotta sometimes just laugh. Like they say, laughter is the best medicine. So I don't always try to make everything comedic, but a lot of times if you just say the truth about something, it's just funny as hell. Like if you just repeat what someone does, it's funny as hell. Like.
It's so fucking true. Now, in regards to your podcasting, so are you using it as like a marketing tool? Is it something that you want to build like a bigger audience?
Yeah,
or is it just like a hobby kind of thing?
At this point, it initially started as a hobby because I was just
kind of funny.
I was just doing it in my room. I was just like, you know what, let me just, because I have like a microphone set up, like a little mini studio in my house. So I was like, all right, let me just do this, see where it goes. But now that more people are like, yo, this is actually funny, it's getting traction. So I'm like, all right, let me take it a little bit more serious, start doing more interviews, do video stuff to it as well, and expand on it.
That's what's up, man. You got to. Dude, we live in the digital media.
Exactly.
So you got to take advantage of what's going on.
And it's funny because I tell people who are like 19, 20, I'm like, yo, I wish I had the technology you had when I was your age. You don't have to leave your house anymore. Like, you can literally just do everything you need in your room and become famous. Exactly. YouTube has every single thing you want to know.
I got my master's in YouTube. I didn't tell you. Nah, word, man.
You know what's crazy? I went to school for audio engineering, right? I learned a lot there. Don't get me wrong, I learned a lot, but I learned so much more through trial and error, Google and YouTube. Like that, they have everything you need to know. Like so.
Remember when you used to have to pick up a fucking dictionary? Like, I don't know what this word means. Now it's like,
it's on your phone, like, Siri, what does this mean?
What does this mean? Exactly. And you can literally even translate languages and shit. It's almost like information is definitely being commoditized by technology, which is great.
I love technology. It's good and bad to some degree.
I see the perks more than the bad. Right. You know why? Because in a sense, we're ambitious and opportunists in a good way. Because opportunist is it. I guess people give it a wrong name, right? Because people think that that's a user.
Right, they're trying to take advantage of somebody,
Take advantage of the era that you live in as well. Right. So we live in the opportunity era with technology, so I'm running with it.
Because like my girl, she's Chinese, right? Okay. So I'm more of a visual learner, so I downloaded an app to learn Cantonese. So it'll teach you like a different word every single day.
Oh, nice.
So like I'm still terrible at it, don't get me wrong. But I'm like trying to learn, so like... Because
she gives you lessons?
Not at all. Like she tries to, but like she speaks it fluently. Yeah. So like when she talks to me, I'm just like, what? So like with the app, I can look at my phone, see how it sounds phonetically. Like
she's saying about me.
Right. Exactly.
Let me see if she's talking about
Exactly.
Like, yo, so I recall that you said some shit right here.
And it pays to be bilingual in this society anyway, because you know there's the influence of Spanish culture, Asian culture, like
in New York City. It's a melting pot. I mean, I'm dating a South African girl, and I'm learning Afrikaans.
Really?
Yeah, and it's cool for
me. That's dope as hell.
It's fun, but I'm picking up the slang and whatnot. Look, she's on the backdrop talking shit right now, so it's cool. We don't mind that, but. Yeah, no, it's cool, man. I enjoy the I guess learning how they learn and what they taught in their countries and shit like that. Like, I think it's just.
You've been out there or?
Nah, not yet. Okay. We're planning on going to South Africa. Hopefully next year, man. I definitely want to get out there, man.
Because I wanted to go to Hong Kong, see what that was like.
Have you traveled to any Asian countries?
No, not at all. Like we were trying to do Thailand this year. Okay. Hope it happens, but Thailand, you been there?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say, wait, what?
They showed me like some video footage of like monkey beach.
Yeah, like the elephants that they have out there. I'm like, all right, I gotta get out there. So that, Hong Kong, Japan, those are like my main 3 places I want to visit.
For me, it's the Great Wall of China. That's like on my bucket list.
That's the downside though. Like from what I remember, Hong Kong and the Great Wall are like on opposite ends almost. So like to get there, because I believe the Great Wall's in Beijing, and Hong Kong's at like the south point. It's almost like an island.
If I told you about anything on the map, bro, I'm like, I just want to go there because it looks.
That's what I'm saying. But like, China's a big fucking country, so it's like coming to America. You go to South Beach, and then you're like, yo, I want to go to Chicago also.
Yeah.
It's just like that's a bit of a journey. You're gonna have to get on another plane to get there. So that's I want to see both, but you know, Hong Kong's the main place I want to go to.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So so like what currently like projects that you guys are working on, that you're working on?
My boy's podcast called Unconventional Wisdom. Okay. You can find him on iTunes and SoundCloud as well.
So you guys are doing a joint kind of.
It's his show, but I'm the engineer for that. So I do all the mixing, do all the editing for that show. My boy, who's actually from LES, he's over by Smith. His name is Clizzy. He's doing his own project for like music and stuff like that. So I'm going to be engineering and mixing for that also.
So you getting into the audio side of things?
I went to school. I went to IAR where I learned how to do all the audio stuff. So in addition to doing the podcasting, I have like engineering background as well. So
that's fire, man. That's pretty dope. Yeah. Like so, in regards to your homie's podcast, do you know like what's going to be?
You know what's great? It's out now, and what he's been doing is when he first started, it was a sports podcast. Okay. And then he's been doing general topics, but he has a dope episode where they speak on mental health.
That's something that I definitely
and like I think a lot of people need to check that out. You know what I mean? And because he had someone who works in that field. Okay. Then he had an episode where he spoke on finances because his boy's an accountant. Okay. So they spoke on ways of improving your money, savings accounts, how to work on your credit. So he does multiple different stuff.
How deep are you into that? Like, are you into the whole entrepreneur, like, you know,
as far as, like, business? Because, I mean, we live in a capitalist society, so I think the whole point of this is to be a capitalist. Like, you know what I mean?
Make as much
you
money
gotta
as
have
possible
as many
to
different
survive.
incomes. Like, I've been working with stocks. I've said to people on my show before, you know, instead of buying all the Nike sneakers, buy some Nike stock.
Damn, I've been saying
I've
this
done
shit.
that.
Yo, the crazy shit is that the Nike stock is fucking half the price.
That's what I'm saying. When I got it, when I got my first Nike stock, it was like $62, and then it went up to like $84 now. So I made $20 profit per share that I have. So I tell people all the time, you always want to diversify your money. Put it in stocks that you know are going to go up, like Netflix, Google, things like that. You know,
and you already know these platforms.
You use it all the time.
Spend money.
Use it all the time. Why not make money off of it? Exactly, all the time.
Man,
So.
you have the same mindset that I've been preaching fucking forever.
What
I'm in real estate, so
Right. See, I'm glad you said that. I meant to ask you. So, Joe and I were talking before. He was like, "Oh, are you having kids anytime soon?" I'm like, "I don't know." And
financial stability first.
right. That, and I want to know. I want to get your opinion because right now my girl and I rent.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out your advice.
Yeah.
We want to have kids, expand our family, stuff like that. Do you think it's better to own houses, condos, co-op, rent? Like, what would you say would be the best route?
All right. So for me, in my professional opinion, and it kind of works out for everybody differently.
Okay.
Like, but my advice, and my boy took my advice. My boy, he was renting out in Jersey City. He was paying like $900 a month, which isn't much, but his son was getting a little bigger. He was a newborn, so they needed a bigger space. And I explained to him, I said, you know, I asked him like, what was his credit like? He told me his credit was good. And we're living in an era right now that we're at 20-year low when it comes to interest rates. So a mortgage, $100,000 mortgage will only cost you $4,000 to put down, which is insane. That's like saying, hey, I'm putting $4,000 into $100,000 for ownership. I told him, hey, listen, instead of going into a single family first, because that's what most people do, go into a multifamily, become a landlord, but live in there. So if you purchase a 2-unit home, rent out the bottom, rent out the top, whichever one, you know, is more feasible to you. And now you're having that person essentially pay half of your mortgage and you're living on the other top. So now here's the thing. For somebody like himself, his market, I think they were charging $1,500 a month for a 3-bedroom. He ended up coming under at $1,400. But what he did was his mortgage is $1,900, so he's only paying $500 to live there now and to own. So now here's the trick. You hold on, you live like that for like a good 2, 3, 4 years, depending on how the market is. And then if you decide to leave, after 2 years, you can legally leave and rent out the top now. Now you have 2 incomes coming in, right? So it's $1,414, right? That's $2,800. You minus your $1,900 in mortgage and taxes, etc. Now you're coming home with an extra $500 a month. Now you take that $500 and you put it towards whatever your mortgage is on your single family. See, so it's kind of like a monopoly play. You add a house, then you add a hotel, you know, that kind of deal. And it worked for him. You know, he just recently hit me up. He's been living over there for like 3 years, I want to say. And he's somebody that I've been beasting to get on the podcast. And him and his wife, they made a nice little chunk of change via equity. Okay. You know, because the market, you know, went up. Jersey City's, you know, is doing a lot better now. Yeah. Hey, so you know, your property's worth for extra $50,000 or $100,000. That's money that you can now use, pull, and now invest into somewhere else. So it's always that play. But yeah, I would suggest multifamily. You know, go the FHA mortgage route. You only have to put 4% down. Live there for 2 years and then upgrade as you go.
I live in Bed-Stuy and it's like totally gentrified now. Yeah. Like it's totally different from when I was a kid.
I know, especially.
Like, it's totally different now. You know, like there's a Starbucks a block away from me now.
I call those what do they call them? They call them gentrification hubs.
Yeah, like when Starbucks comes, just like all right, it's over.
What's coming up in my neighborhood next?
Exactly.
But you know what, man? It's happening. People just have to be more educated when it comes to ownership. And not look at it like, okay, well, it's too late for me because I live in New York City and it's this multi-million-dollar fucking, city. It's true, it is a multi-million-dollar city, but you do have opportunity in Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Jersey, those little outer states that's right there within an hour, 2 hour distance from us where we can, either make money from or move to if need be, when it came down to that. So that's my advice.
Other thing I wanted to ask you, because I'm not sure at all. I'm like a novice when it comes to real estate.
Yeah.
With condos, do you have to pay property tax?
All right. So with condos, you have what is called a maintenance charge. So you're not. It's all combined.
Okay.
It's like property tax and whatever the board is. But every condo and co-op is different. So you may have a condo that has property tax. You may have a condo that doesn't have property tax. It really just depends on what your purchase is. But yeah, you do pay taxes no matter what. Taxes is across the board.
We'll be watching
whether they put it in maintenance charge or property tax.
We'll be watching HGTV and we're just like, yo, should we get a condo? Should we get this? Like, what should we do?
Yeah, I would start multifamily first if I was somebody like yourself, first purchase, and then kind of gauge your way from there. But if you were to purchase in the city, co-ops tend to be cheaper than condos. For purposes like co-ops, they normally have a co-op board. Condos, they don't really have many rules. Co-ops have a little bit more rules and regulations. So that's the only difference between the two. But hey, man, when you're ready, come see me.
Gotcha, I definitely will. I'm like, I need to know somebody who's into real estate heavy.
Yeah, man, hell yeah. Gotcha. But all right, we completely got that off subject. Sorry, guys, we were just talking about business.
My bad, I need to know.
No, you need to know, bro. I hear you. But so now let's talk about your podcast. In regards to, what was the podcast again?
Ignorant Intelligence.
Ignorant Intelligence. How did you come up with that title?
Describes me perfectly. Like, because I like to joke around all the time, but at the same time, you got to know when to be ignorant about certain things, joke around, but you also need to know how to carry yourself in a professional way. In an intelligent way, And
I thought it was a pretty fucking I thought it was a dope title.
Thank you.
Like I was like, oh, this is kind of dope. Like oxymoron.
Exactly.
Right?
And it's just like, I think it's like balance. Like you don't want to be too much of either or. You always want to have balance. I think everything in life is about balance.
I
everything
agree.
we do. And
shit, I get bored with my fucking podcast too. Sometimes I'm like, I'm fucking boring, but it's cool. I got some cool people on here carrying me. So
it's like I grew up in Brooklyn, right?
All right.
And Bed-Stuy, I was born in '88, so I lived through all the '90s in Bed-Stuy. Ignorant as hell. So like,
80s and 90s,
that's what I'm saying.
People understand how ignorant it
pure
could be.
ignorance, like just unexplainable stuff. And as I've gotten older, it's just like I realize I can't always apply street principles and stuff to like a corporate world. Yeah. So if I'm going to a corporate world wearing a suit and tie at work every day, I can't act the same exact way all the time. Yeah. So it's like it's almost symbolic of how my life is.
So what's your 9 to 5 hustle?
I work as a supervisor for a security company.
Okay. Nice.
So I'm always wearing a suit and tie, always in an office, stuff like that. So once I do that, I come home, I do my podcast, do engineering. Okay. So after that, I conduct myself professionally. Yeah. But at the same time, living in New York City, you're going to come across all different walks of people, street people, corporate people. So it's just symbolic of how I carry myself on a day-to-day.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. What's the end goal for you and your podcast? Like, what is it that you want to bring to this?
Honestly, I definitely want to start bringing on guests. So if they want to promote a business, if they want to promote their brand, I can do that. But for the most, it's mainly just to help other people have a platform to speak on, stuff like that. So, but for myself, I just go in there to just talk, break the ice, crack jokes with people. Exactly, you know what I mean? Like that's the main thing.
I tell people that, man, all the time. They're like, like how do you find time to do this and that? And I'm like, it only takes like a half an hour to an hour of your time. You take it aside, you interview somebody, you get a fuckload of content out of it, and then now you have some social media presence with what you're doing.
Like a lot of people I know,
it's really not that hard.
Right.
You're here 8 hours a day. Like
this is what 30 minutes out of my day compared to
exactly
40 hours a week. It's just not
exactly.
And then I know people who do art, who rap, who sing. And I remember when I first came out of school, I was a producer, engineer, and no one wanted to interview me, and I had no platform. Yeah. So I know what that's like for like a younger generation. Like, yo, who can I interview? I will give anybody opportunity to be on there. So
I literally interview anybody.
Right. Yeah.
Like if you have something to say that's like meaningful or valuable,
everyone has a story.
Some shit, and it's true. Everybody definitely has a story, bro. Like I've had people I've interviewed, and they'll be talking about business, and all of a sudden it'll get personal. And I'm like, so that's what
exactly that's what sets you
going into business and whatnot. So you learn a lot about people through the interviewing, especially the entrepreneurial mindsets, man. Because that's what I think it is. I think most of us come to the table with an entrepreneurial mindset. We just come with different walks of life, bro.
I don't have a problem with authority. I just don't like being told what to do all the time. Like, that shit is infuriating. I hate it. Like, I want to do what I want to do. Yeah. I want to wake up at my own time, do what I want to do. And if I can get paid through my podcast, great, you know. But everybody wants to get paid for their podcast. If it never happens, you know, fine, I'm still going to do it. But I just enjoy doing it. But
I don't even look at it as a paid like an income stream. I mean, I've heard that you can monetize.
I've been looking at, like, people make so much money off of ads on their podcasts. Yeah. I mean, that would be great. To just be like, yo, I just make money
just chilling
off my podcast, you know. But if that doesn't happen, is what it is. But you know, I just enjoy doing it.
Yeah, same here, man. Same here, bro. But hey, man, I don't know if you got anything left that you want to tell our audience, man. If you got any future projects coming up, something that you just been weighing heavy on your mind.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? I haven't really told anyone about it, but I figured out exactly what I want. The reason why I changed my Instagram name to Brandon Does is because I was home for like a brief period of time for like a month, and I was just brainstorming different ideas or whatever. And there's this guy named Casey Neistat on YouTube. I don't know if you follow him or heard him or whatever.
It rings a bell about it.
Yeah, he's like this super cool tech dude. He tries out different technology, you know, here nor there. But he has like a daily vlog, right? So I was just thinking, I was like, yo, I'm always on vacation. I'm always doing this, always doing that. Why don't I create a show called Brandon Does? In each episode, I'll be doing a different thing. So it'll be like, oh, Brandon does mountain climbing, or Brandon does jet skiing, you know, like different stuff like that.
You that adventurous.
Right, yeah, because when I go on vacation,
oh, that's ill, bro.
When I went to Mexico, like, I held a shark, and I was just like, yo, this would be dope as hell if it was on camera. And I'm telling people, they're like, get the fuck out of here. I have like one photo, like, that my girl took with her cell phone.
Like I would tell my girl, you better follow me with your phone.
Listen, like, I'm like an adventurous person. I'll pretty much do anything.
Oh, so you on a Will Smith bucket?
Yeah. Like this is like
you would be that type.
Yep. So I was just like, you know, why don't I just start doing that? And that'll also get me involved with like video.
Have you started that, or is that
No, that was my next step. I had to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. Right. So I want to start doing that by summer when weather gets nice out. Start doing different activities, and I'll start posting that on YouTube.
Fire. I'm actually going to look forward to that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing it.
I'm not as adventurous as you, but I am not.
It gives me an incentive to like be out and just try different stuff, you know, like even if it's like weird foods. Say if I'm in another country and they're like, oh, this food.
But it's you.
Right.
That's cool. It's you. Right. Don't do it if it's not you.
No. That's
for me, I'm not doing that.
That's always been me since a kid.
Like, I'll eat. I'm down to eat. Josh eats or something like that.
I'm always into doing the weird shit, so.
Nah, that's fire. I'm gonna be looking forward to that. Audience, y'all gotta look forward to that. And yo, as always, man, follow us on Instagram, JTB Podcast on all platforms, and follow the homie, man. Brandon Does.
Thank you.
His Ignorant Intelligence podcast is fire. Pretty fucking funny guy, intelligent dude from Brooklyn. You already know, man. And as always, love y'all. Comment, share, like, subscribe, and tell people that you listen to the podcast.
Word. Share podcast, man. It's free to share.
It's free. It's free, guys, and it'll help us out. We love you guys. Take care.
Peace.